House of Cards podcast, the show where we break down the art of creative real estate investing. Join us as we dive into the world of real estate with insider tips and tricks for making your investments go further. From buying with no money down to flipping properties for profit, we've got you covered. Plus, stay tuned for expert guest speakers who will share their knowledge and experience in this ever-changing market. So grab a seat and get ready to learn the secrets to success in real estate investing. And now, from Alaska to New York, your hosts, Chris James and Jesse Stanton.
Yes, dude, that intro gets me fired up every freaking time I see it, man. I love the guy who did the voice for us.
I love it.
Chris.
Well, man.
Oh, there he is.
Don't do the. I'm here.
We can hear you. We can hear you. You're good. You're good.
Okay. Good morning, man. How are you?
Oh, dude, I'm good, man. I'm good. What a powerful week, man. What a busy week. This has been amazing, and I'm looking forward to. I think this week is going to be just equally as busy. It's been awesome, man. How about yourself? How's the day going for you so far?
Yeah, especially the last 24 hours. I was actually thinking about this before I went to sleep, and I probably didn't go to sleep tomorrow. 2:30, if not 3 o'clock this morning.
Oh my gosh.
And just the last 24 hours, as far as what the things we've been acquiring and doing, I can only see where we're gonna be involved at in 5 years. I can only see it, right? It's just all the different things that's happening right now with just not the company, but just like our surroundings, our network, and all that good stuff, and our new challenge that's coming up. I super excited, and I know for a fact it's going to change. Not just our only, family lives, but, others around us. So I'm super, super excited about that. Freddie, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Freddie's a phenomenal individual. Freddie, you're a true go-giver. I see you're out there networking, trying to JV, get deals done. I really love seeing this kind of stuff. Eric, what's going on, man? And guys, we got so many new announcements coming up. It's been surreal. I know the last couple of weeks you guys probably like, where's Chris and Jesse been? We trying to stay consistent with Saturday at 1:30 every week, but with the multiple business that we do have, we're just trying to create more resources for you guys. So I do want you to let you know we're still here. And this Monday coming up, we have the new Watermelon Challenge actually officially starting. So we're super excited about that. And more so, there's a lot of amazing individuals. Stu, Danielle, I can go down. There's about 9 of us. 9 of us that's going to be doing phenomenal things. And literally the sky is the limit. And we want to make sure that everyone has a piece of the watermelon. We really want to make sure everyone has the right resources. There's no excuses. Whatever that looks like. If you don't got $1, there's no excuses why you can't buy a property. There's no excuses why you can't do a deal. So it just look forward to Monday, and more so during the show, Jesse's going to elaborate a little bit exactly what that looks like from on a higher level and what that overall aspect of what the challenge is. Those who are new, just to let you guys know, I'm Chris James, just as Jesse Stanton. We do have a group called the House of Cards with Chris James and Jesse Stanton. This is our podcast. We are on 7 or 8 platforms right now.
I think
8.
Remember.
I think it's
right
8,
now.
8 platforms. If you want to follow us on not just StreamYard, we also are, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. I'm trying to think of all of them. Apple Music, Amazon Music. So, if you do miss it, you can always rewatch the replays, and we don't edit. We don't edit it, so you get the raw content. Facebook user, I've been looking for Chris a while now. I wish I knew who this was. I wish. So it says Facebook user on your end. I'm not for sure. You probably can see your name, but on our end, you must grant StreamYard to see make your name visible so everyone knows who you are.
It's Mike Diaz.
My guy.
That's who it is.
I love that guy, man. He's amazing. Hardworking individual. That is hilarious. So Mike, actually, those who don't Mike, the hardest working individual I know, like one of them. Jesse's another one. But when it comes to Mike, there's really no excuses. No excuses. Even when obstacles come about, he always navigate and maneuver to literally get whatever needs to be done. And I love that about him. Like he's a go. I want to get Mike on next week or the following week. He's a great not just wholesaler. He's been doing the wholesaler for the last couple of years. He's actually moving into buying a lot more properties. And Mike is he's a sub 2 mastermind student now. So officially, I want to hear more about the story. I know he was at Pace's house. I think it was last weekend or the weekend before. So I definitely want to hear more about that, your experience. And I want you to share some of the knowledge you learned while you were there for that week. So I'm super excited about that. Guys, do not squad up with Mike Diaz. I don't know what you guys are doing, but he's based out of, the city, New York City. I got to say New York City because I'm in upstate New York, which is Rochester, New York. But he's actually marketing in Pennsylvania. So if you got any deals in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to be exact, he is a buyer for you. He's definitely a buyer for you, and he's looking to get deals done. So yeah, man. You got the little ones up.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they're always running, dude. Yeah, talk about just being super busy and having just no excuses, dude. Yesterday, oh my gosh, man, yesterday was just a perfect example of that. I mean, just between all the calls we had, calls with sellers, calls with agents, other meetings, things we got going on in our business. Dude, I'm sitting here just juggling, trying to be active on a Zoom, and I've got a crying 2-year-old in one arm, and I've got my kids are out fighting with each other in the yard in front of me, and yeah, man, the joys of being a parent, dude. But it's awesome because we were talking about this last night. Actually, I was talking about this with a couple of people. There's a flip side to it. Being a parent, being an entrepreneur, obviously, it's neat because all of these things that come with being a parent, like things that just test your patience, for example. Once you develop that resiliency, once you develop that skill, it overflows into other areas of your life to include your business. And then, vice versa, things that you build in your business, you take those attributes, those skills, and you apply them to other areas of your life. And obviously mindset is really big in, with that. So, but no, it's neat to see my kids, wanting to be part of it. I shared the story a while ago, but my son, it was last year. It was January of 2022, he lost a tooth, and he came out and he's holding $1 and he's like, Dad, I got $1 from the tooth fairy. I'm like, dude, that's awesome, man. That's rad. What are you gonna do with it? What are you gonna go get? Should we go to the gas station and get some Skittles or something, or what are you thinking? And he's like, Dad, how do I invest it? How do I make money? How do I turn this into more money? And up until that point, I hadn't really consciously said anything to him or pushed him into it. Just as a byproduct of him being my son, when I got no other option, if I got to go meet with a seller or go walk a property, or I go to meet, another investor for lunch at Red Robin or something, I just take him with me. And it's neat because just him being around that atmosphere, he saw what it does,
Yeah.
And so it was super neat. And after we had that experience, after he was like, Dad, I want you to, how do I take this $1 from the tooth fairy and how do I turn it into more money? I was like, wow, okay. Now let's I had this light bulb moment. And I was like, okay, now I need to start being intentional with it. And so we started not to veer off too much, but we started deep diving into, reading books together. And then I started comparing how I'm raising my kids compared to how I was raised, and not just from a typical parent standpoint, but from an educational standpoint. And thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Well, it is super neat because my kids, I start comparing how I was raised to how I'm raising my kids, and to think about things about money and debt. And dude, I kid you not, man, money in my house was treated like a 4-letter word. And I remember my mom telling me that, man. I remember my mom telling me specifically 4-letter word. You don't use 4-letter words. And I was like, well, Mom, what's a 4-letter word? And she's like, cuss words are 4-letter words. We don't say 4-letter words in my house. You're going to get your ass beat. And I said, okay. But money, the word money was treated like a 4-letter word. It was something we didn't talk about. It was something that you didn't go ask somebody how to make more money. You didn't ask somebody how much money they were making. And it's interesting because I'm sitting here like watching like how I'm raising my son and the things we're going over compared to how I was raised to think about money and these questions. And it was very private, right? It was like, hey, we keep this close to ourselves. You don't ask anybody this. You don't talk about money. And so consequently, as a byproduct of that, I grew up thinking that, hey, there's people who have money and people who don't. And if I want a good chance of at least getting by in life, then I need to go to school. And then I need to work 40 to 50 hours a week for 40 or 50 years. And then I can retire. And then that's what I was raised to think was a good life. But then you start looking at like, you start looking like what my son is doing. And he's like, Dad, how do I take this and invest this? So then all of a sudden I started having like these epiphanies and I'm like, bro, how do I capitalize on this? How do I start changing the mindset and being sure that I am intentional and cognizant of the things that I want my son to start learning as just being around me? And oftentimes I reflect like when I would ask my dad or my mom for more money, to go to like a school football game or, something like that on a Friday night or, whatever, I would have to do chores. So my dad would be like, yeah, go wash the car and go vacuum it out and I'll give you $10. And so in my mind, before I could get a job, I was like, oh, cool. That's what I got to go do to make more money. I got to go work for it. So that was ingrained. So what happens, Chris, when we turn 15, 16 years old and we get a driver's license, what is the first thing we go do? It's like, oh, shoot, dude, I've got to pay for gas. Maybe some people you got to help pay your parents for insurance. I don't know. But you have some expenses. You have a cell phone now.
Yep.
My parents didn't pay for any of that stuff for me. So guess what I had to do if I wanted to drive? I'd go get a job. So now at 15, 16 years old, now I've got a job. And then what happens after we graduate high school? Same thing we just got done talking about, right? You got to go to college. You got to go get a job. You got to get a degree. You got to blah, 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 blah. And you got to work your ass off, man. And it's neat because seeing what my son did, I just had this huge epiphany. I was like, man, I don't want my son coming to me as he gets older and wants to go do things and wants to go buy an Xbox or go, to the school football game or take his date to the prom or, whatever it is. And I don't want him coming to me and saying, hey, Dad, you got any chores from around the house for me to go do? And so what we've been doing is I've been paying my kids to read books and not do chores. They do chores anyway because they live in my house. But I've been paying them to read books. And then what's neat, dude, is that money that I've been paying them, I've been taking that and I fund some of our deals with it. And then once we get paid on that wholesale fee, like I'll fund a portion of like EMD with their money. I'll go borrow, $100 for EMD from them. And then once we close on that transaction, part of the money that I get, I set aside and I give them back their $100 plus another $100. So now they just doubled their money. And so now their thought process all of a sudden now becomes, oh, as they get older, as they start getting into that 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old, I want them to be like, Dad, I need to go buy a car. I'm going to get my license soon. What do you have to invest in? What do you have that I can throw my money into? And so that's kind of what I've been juggling with, I guess, to bring this boat back into the harbor, so to speak. Those are some of the kind of the coolest things about being a parent and being an entrepreneur, and the things you get to teach your kids is bring them along on this ride with you and just say, hey, dude, let's do this together.
Yeah, I kind of wish I knew who this was. Guys, actually, I'm gonna look it up. But I think that's a great insight, more so because due to the fact of, as you stated earlier, we're all raised a little bit different, right? Essentially you want to make the best future for your kids, and you're molding them into a direction where you got to be an entrepreneur. And I really love that, because initially, like, I know we talked about it in the past, but we're all raised to more so this white picket fence life. And that was our mindset. And I know that was my mindset. I kid you not, that was me all day. I'm like, okay, make $50,000-$60,000 a year, you're golden. Or if you reach the $100,000 mark, you don't have to do anything. You know, you got the white picket fence, the family, and you're solid. You got the 9 to 5. No. So, and truth be told, that was me all day, thinking that was the life. Until I got into real estate, you know, more so, you know, COVID pushed me. So I do gotta say thank you, COVID. So more so the life we live now is just more so like it's only going to expand. It's only gonna get better, and we just gotta adapt to the new environment. In real estate, everyone knows the market can change from day to day. It's just a matter of, you know, a real estate investor, right? Hence the investing part is a lot of risk that may come with it. That's why Jesse and we named our podcast The House of Cards. You just never know what kind of hand you're going to be dealt with in the real estate world. And truth be told, it could look like the perfect deal in the world, but you just never know until literally you start going down to the nitty gritty of a lot of different things. Which brings me to last night, as Jesse stated yesterday, it was like back-to-back calls. My phone even died.
I bet we got 100 emails alone yesterday, dude.
Literally, my phone died when I was on the phone with Jesse. Didn't even realize. Didn't even realize I had to run and go find a charger and all this other stuff, and then yeah, it was a great day. You know, those are the kind of days we want to have, you know, back-to-back calls, a lot of money making activities and opportunities that presented itself. You know, Jesse and we pulled the trigger on a lot of properties yesterday. I think if I'm not mistaken, it was 6 of them. 6 properties we going to move forward to buy. So it's just a lot of different things. You know, sometimes if the things that you don't want, like the times where you don't want to do it, that's when you need to do it. And was I tired? 1,000%. Did I want to be on the phone every single second of the day? No. But it's just that's something that Jesse and we do. It just, you know, that's the only way we're going to make our family tree change. And then toward like the James family, I guarantee I'm going to be the first millionaire in our family to change everything. I know
King James.
King James. You got a point there. Forgot about him, but more so, I loved it. I went to sleep last night in a great mood. Did I feel like I accomplished everything I needed? No. But I don't think you will ever feel like that, right? Think about it. If you felt like you really accomplished something, what was your overall objective? Because you get to a point in your life, you know, you want to accomplish, you have goals, you have, you know, this to-do list or bucket list, as they call it. You complete your bucket list. What is next?
Let me ask you something, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is the thing that keeps you as a single parent, as like, I don't know anybody else, dude, who works as hard as you do.
Appreciate that.
Just as a single parent, especially, man, like it's so awesome. I love getting to see you and Romeo and doing all these things. Every time I call you guys, especially like Christmas time, dude. Like, I thought that my wife was big into Christmas. Like, it's so neat how just overboard you go, and just the relationship that you have with your son. But during school, and now you're getting ready to end school. I think you guys have a couple, you know, field trips lined up, right, to end school. Is it this week?
Yep, that is correct.
Right,
that is correct.
So what keeps you going? Like, for everybody else who's like, man, you know what? I've got a family, I've got a W-2, I've got like all these other kinds of different things. What I don't have the time, or at least that's what they tell themselves. What advice would you give to somebody, man? Like, what the hell keeps you freaking going, man?
What keeps me going is my upbringing and my past, my experiences from living check to check. And I don't want my son to be in a situation where he has to either borrow money from someone. I want him to have his own identity, where he has his own. Don't get me wrong. I want him to be what he wants to be, whatever he wants to be. I'm a supporter of it. He wants to be, you know, a pilot. He wants to don't go into real estate. That's fine. But more so, what keeps me going is the fact of I don't want him to experience what I experienced living check to check. So I want him to be in a state where he could do whatever he wants, but he's going to have the mindset to be an entrepreneur. If he wants to be an entrepreneur, hell, if he wants to create his own airline, call it Romeo's Airline. I don't know if that's the reason I'm mentioning airlines, because he loves planes. He loves planes. This year and last year in his class projects, it was always about planes, how they work. It's still mind blowing how much to be honest, I don't know a lot about planes, but he knows more than me. Like the terminology he's utilized, I'm like, dude, you're only 11. You're only 11. Like, who's teaching you this stuff? And you just don't know how it's crazy what cell phones can do and what they're really doing on their phones and all that good stuff. And the fact of he's always talking about planes. He's always talking about the way it works, the engine, the different names of, oh no, this is called this is called that. I think that's exciting, and that actually keeps me going, because essentially I want to pave the way for him to, if he wants to go into that field, I want to help him do that. Let's invest to a plane or two. Maybe we may own a jet. I don't know. Like, maybe we can arbitrage some things. I don't know about that, life yet in regards to airplanes. But the reason I'm like just stuck on the top of airplanes, because he loves it with a passion. And I don't know where he got it from, because he didn't get it from me. I can tell you that he didn't get it from me. But more so, what keeps me really going is just him. The fact of, I don't want him to go through what my experiences I went through. I don't want him to struggle. And, more so, I just don't want that upbringing I had. And not saying like I was a, challenging kid, or I was brought up poor or anything like that. It's just the fact of specifically, I just don't, the life can be much better. Let's just say that the life can be much better. And I don't want people to think like, okay, my parents, they've been married for almost like 40, 50 years. I think I lost count transparently. And, they're still together. They just bought their new house about a couple months ago. And and they're still they're living the American dream. They love it. They live in the American dream, right? But that's not for me. I don't want to live the American dream. I want to do what I want when I want, right? Could they do that? Potentially. But I know for a fact by the end of next year, I'm going to retire them both. That's going to happen. No offense about it. And not just that, it's just the fact of Romeo is going to be set for life. And as far as the things that Jesse and I got going right now, and then what's to come, I want to make sure his family's set as well. And I know he wants the same thing for my family. So it's just the fact that specifically when it comes to like keep going in the late nights and, going to sleep 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, like Jesse knows this. Like I told him yesterday, like I was on probably 3 hours of sleep. And today I'm not really feeling good, but I'm here. I could have said, oh, Jesse, I'm just going to take the day off and not do this today. No, at the end of the day, I love doing this, right? I love real estate. And more so, we love being a resource for you guys. And that's the reason why we continue to do this. If we didn't want to continue to be a resource or just add value to you guys, we wouldn't be on this today. And I know that's kind of more so a long-winded answer, Jesse. Sorry about that.
No, don't apologize. That's great, dude. That's great. Let me ask you, thank you for sharing that, by the way. Let me ask you though, but like, I know you said like COVID kind of forced you into this, but was there a specific pivot or mindset shift that happened that kind of like slingshotted you into this area? Because I know you were contemplating going and getting your real estate license, and you'd done everything up to that point aside from signing your name on the test.
That is very true. Very true. The mind shift was going back to the industry. Those who don't know, I was in the hospitality restaurant industry, and being a GM for 7 years and a director operator for 2 years, going back into that clocking in, clocking out, I knew there was more out there. I really knew there was more out there. And especially being on salary, you're stuck with that pay, right? So if you're getting paid $65,000 to $70,000 a year, that's not going to change for that year unless you get some kind of, bonus, whatever that looks like, promotion. Right. But just imagine, what you're going to get. You're faithfully going to get that. But going into real estate, thinking about, imagine trying to receive a $65,000 check in 1 month, not a year, but 1 month. And as Jesse stated, I was literally going to that. I was going to the realm of going to get my real estate license. I thought that was the way into real estate. And I was like almost like 85, if not 95% there. And I realized, no, for what I really want, I don't want to be a real estate agent. I don't want to limit myself. And I'm not saying there's nothing bad with real estate agent. Jesse and I work with a hell of, I don't know if we can, I'm trying not to curse here. I don't know if I can keep PG-13 or anything like that, but
only, man, this is a rated X podcast. Well, maybe not that, unless we got Joel on.
Right.
Joel is an amazing individual.
So
more knocking naked.
So we talk to a ton of real estate agents, and we work with them hand in hand. Perfect example. Yesterday we was talking with a phenomenal agent over in Texas. She wants to get to know us a lot more and understand exactly the concept of what that looks like moving forward. But the reason I didn't move forward to sign on that dotted line far as to finish, like go do the test, it wasn't because I wasn't going to pass it, but more so specifically because going to being a real estate investor, there's endless opportunities. Mm-hmm. Based on being a real estate agent, when you're having a conversation with a seller, you only have one job, right? So you know what that is. You're going to list the property, then you're going to get some kind of profit. 2.5%, maybe 3% max, or if you represent both sides, you may get 6 max, right? But think about it on a hypothetical. Let's use even number. So $100,000 house goes on the market. What is the agent going to get at 6% if they're representing both sides?
6%.
So
6,000.
6%. So 6,000. Imagine me as an investor wholesaling that deal and making 15,000. So as a real estate agent, you can't do that. An investor, you can. I could have made 20, 30,000. Only reason I'm speaking because Jesse and I did this from experience. $35,000 assignments versus a realtor only walking away with like $4,700, like little things like that. I didn't want to limit myself, and going from COVID, from restaurant industry to COVID, and everyone in the world was receiving stimulus checks. Everyone in the world was receiving either some kind of unemployment, right? And was I receiving that? 100%, because obviously we were in a COVID state and they shut down all my restaurants. So instead of specifically using that money on bullshit, listen, I can go down the list of my family members just buying random crap. I'm like, what are you doing? The car is going to, now I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but the clothes they were buying, the stuff, the games and all that good stuff they were buying, which is ridiculous. But I used my money, I saved it and used it to get into a mentorship. And that was Cody Sperber. Cody Sperber, real estate investor, clever investor, they call it. That's where my journey literally started going in the right direction far as, the real estate investing world. And then transparently, if I didn't have that money set aside that I was saving up, I probably wouldn't be on this podcast today, right? And it got to a point where I went from Cody Sperber, clever investor, then I went to Alex Martinez, pro wholesaler, that's only on market deals, and then going into Pace Morby sub 2. Like, that's a lot of experience right there. Not just jumping around from mentorship. It's just more so I found what works and what resonates with me. And from my mind changed instantly, where I realized the proof of concept from wholesaling. Because initially when I first started out, I only wanted to do wholesale. I'm like, okay, I received my first check. Okay, this is real.
This is dope, man.
I'm cashing this check. And guys, I don't know if you saw one of our podcasts prior, but I went over exactly how I got that check. But I do want to explain the last part of it when I went into the bank, and it was interesting. I literally pulled up. I think I probably still got a picture of my phone. I kid you not. I pulled up to the bank, Key Bank. We have that in Rochester, New York. It's Key Bank. So I pulled up to the bank. Like, I literally took a picture. I sent it to my sister because ultimately it was her. At the time, she didn't know I was wholesaling. I actually wholesaled her house. She knows now, though, the whole process, what that looked like. But I had a check in my hand from that closing. Biggest check I had to date in one setting. not to date, like at that specific time, I had a wholesale check of $5,800. And once usually I probably receive that in probably a monthly basis, but not one check in 1 week kind of thing. So I have that check in my hand. I took a picture. I'm like, damn, this is. I'm nervous going to bank because I never cast something this big in my eyes at that
You're about
time.
to get arrested, Chris.
Right.
You're gonna cast this and arrest you for fraud, homie.
So I get out the car. I walk into the bank, and of course, out of all the times, the days, it's got to be the busiest times. And me, I'm just thinking, I just picked up my check from the attorney's office. I'm going there. It's going to be quick. It's going to be me and the teller. We're going to have a little conversation. Like, this makes it easy. Make me a little bit comfortable to cash this check right now. So I walk into the bank, and literally there's a long ass line. I'm like, shit. And I'm like, okay, I'm the last one. It's going to die now. It's going to be just me and the teller because I'm afraid to cash this check. And I'm like, okay, this line is moving slow. It's only 3 tellers up there. And people are coming behind me. I'm like, okay, do I play this off, leave, go back next time? Because, and again, guys, I never cash a check this large at the time. Never. I didn't know if this check was real, fake, or what that looks like. So I started walking. I'm like the next one in line. And the lady said, can I help you? As I walking up, and I said, yes, I'm here to cash this check. Mind you, I'm nervous. Part of me want to say, damn, any second the cops are coming in, they're going to get me. This is a fake check. This is it. Guys are going to jail kind of thing. So the lady, I'm like, usually say, okay, can I see your ID? I give her my ID. I'm like, okay, shit. Usually they give it right back. She just walked away with it. Like, okay, what's going on here? Like, okay. And so she goes like walking away a little bit with the check, and then comes back with it was a gentleman. It looked like he was her supervisor.
Oh,
he said, how you doing, Mr. James? I said, I'm great.
I don't know.
So I'm like smiling in my head like I'm fucked. Like I'm just screwed. So, and then all of a sudden, it wanted a thumbprint and all that stuff. And I put a thumbprint, and then he took the check back. I'm like in my head, like, you just put the random check. Like, I'm used to cash at that time, cashing checks like 1 to 2, if not 300, maybe $400. And then the guy takes the check, comes back, and then he says, how would you like it? How would you like it back? And I'm like, oh, okay. I just said all large just to get my ass out of there, because I didn't know what to say or do. I just said all large, get me in and out. And mind you, in my head at the time, I could have just cashed a check into that bank account, but I wasn't thinking at the time. And so more so, they gave me the money. I got my ass. It was all cash, $5,800.
And tens and 20s.
No, it was all hundreds. It was all hundreds of $80. So I literally, when I say I never left a bank so damn quick, because I was waiting for the alarm to come off, gate come down, they got me kind of scenario. Like, I watch a lot of movies, and literally I got in the car. I'm like, okay, this is real. And I was one of those guys at that time to take a picture of it, and I didn't post. I'm not that guy to post it on, be that guy and post it on Facebook and all that stuff. But I did send it to my brother. I sent it to my sister. Like, at that time, I don't know if I wouldn't say bragging, but it was like a proof of concept. Like, this actually works. Yeah. So I went straight home and literally, I kid you not, started calling more sellers. And that $5,800 became, a little bit, because I didn't know what to do with it at the time. I didn't know at the time. I didn't learn like Profit First and all this good stuff, and reading books back then. Then my next assignment was $14,000. So that's when I'm like, okay, I went from 58 to 14,000. And in the state of New York, if you guys don't know this, you need 2 attorneys, right? So you need 2 attorneys, and not just that. A minimum, you can't close a transaction in New York in 2 weeks. Not going to happen. Don't force it. You're looking at an average of 45 days. And that's standard. That is standard due to the fact of, we don't have title companies, right? So they're sourcing out a lot of different things. And plus, some attorneys don't like to respond. So the responsiveness of all parties definitely could be a challenge. But overall, so if you're working in New York, you need that conveyor belt. You need that conveyor belt. If you don't got like 4 or 5, 6, 7 deals going on at a time, that could be a problem, especially if you're living in New York. Luckily, I'm in upstate New York, not New York City. New York City is about 6 hours. No, I'm sorry, 6 hours away from where I'm at. And even then, the boroughs in New York City, they're very different as well. So, at that time, I didn't know nothing about creative finance. I didn't know nothing about a lot of different things. I wasn't experienced. I was not experienced at all. So more so, I was just wholesaling locally, and then I got to a point where, joining Pace Morby's group, the sub 2 community, knowing I could do this national, I immediately went to Florida and Pennsylvania. That was my markets. And to find out when Florida closed in a week, 2 weeks, and then Pennsylvania was the same way. These are title states, and then North Carolina, perfect example. The fastest transaction I ever closed was 7 days. 7 days, and mind you, those it was 4 business days. North Carolina, and that was with 2 sub 2 students, Shaw Bowden and Ted Miller. Never in my life closed it. So I'm like, shit, I'm getting out of New York. I'm not doing this. I'm not wholesaling New York if I can close deals this fast over there. Yeah. And so just wholesaling in general. Like that first year, I really took the bull by his horns and just ran with it. And then the following year after the mastermind, I kid you not, I started buying properties. After Pace and Cody Burton, Jamil, they all spoke at the mastermind, and having that one-on-one conversation with them, just understand exactly what I needed to implement in my business and how to move forward. Mm-hmm. My resources was endless. My mind shift changed instantly, where I knew for a fact I could buy any property in the world.
Dude, isn't that awesome? Like, I think people when they talk about like things like affirmations, or when they talk about things like mindset, they kind of see it like woo-woo. But they really don't understand. Like it's funny, dude, because like you got the 99% that kind of look at those things like that. But then when you look at the 1%'s doing, they're literally telling you, dude, get a dream board, start working on your mindset, start understanding how to think differently, how to do things differently. And dude, just in doing that, and simply, you remember the first time I remember this like it was yesterday. I talked about it on our live yesterday a little bit, but I remember the first time I ever heard somebody. Pace likes to use this phrase. Well, he used it one time, I guess I should say, and it got stuck in my mind, and I just loved it because it really did such a great job of painting a picture of exactly what creative financing is. And he said, I just bought this house for less than the price of a cup of coffee. He said this 3 years ago. I don't know that I've heard him say it since, but that's what he said. And I was like, holy crap. Now, how many people would hear that and they would think, no, that's a scam. There's something else going on. This is illegal. Blah, 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 blah. This guy's on Disney now. One of the biggest companies that vet their people that they partner with like nobody's business. But this guy's scamming people, At least that's what a lot of people would say. And so, but it's interesting when you look at that, and for everybody else who's like, ooh, that's interesting. And then you just simply asking yourself, what if? What if I could? Like, now just asking yourself that opens up the possibilities. You start seeing opportunities that are right in front of you that you hadn't noticed before. It doesn't mean they weren't there, but you're noticing them now. And what's cool about it, Chris, is just this whole process is replicable.
Absolutely.
Anybody can come in here and do this. And it's just, it's the neatest freaking thing in the world, man. But I mindset just goes so heavily into it. And so, yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, man. Because every time you open yourself up to it, you say, what if? Then you take action a little bit, and you actually get some momentum, like the feeling you get for the confidence that you get, the courage that you get. Like it just like it snowballs, it compounds. And then you take that confidence and courage into the next thing. And it's like you said, dude, there's nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't buy.
Right. 100%.
So awesome, bro.
100%.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
No, absolutely. And someone just said, having the abundance of mindset. Jesse is a big component of mindset. A huge component of it, right? So when it comes to, I wish I knew who this was, Facebook user, but when it comes to mindset, it's really big. You really have to have a great mindset, especially in real estate or any business or any entrepreneur. If you don't, your mindset has to be there. If you don't got the right mindset, you won't make it. transparent, you won't make it in the business. And that's not, I'm not just talking about real estate. I'm just talking about like in life. You understand? You get a lot of people around you that could always complain about this and never take ownership, or, you know, it's always this person's fault. It's always that person's fault. And why didn't this work out? Why didn't that work out? Have you ever, you know, looked in the mirror, reflect on, you know, how can I did something different? Or maybe it was me, or maybe I could have did this differently. And that's one thing over the last year, actually, I've been doing that a lot. And just reflected, not say doing a lot as far as doing it where I'm just reflecting on life. Like, yes, we closed this deal, but what can we have done differently? You know, yes, we did this, but what can we have done differently?
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of different things. And then, yes, Kimberly, 100%. Let me put her up here. Lacey Bass. So more so specifically, when it comes to mindset, Jesse is, I love when Jesse talks about mindset, because his mind goes so many different places. I can't keep up. Sometimes I really can't keep up. I kid you not. And I'm growing on a daily basis. I'm really growing. I'm understanding just more so how people communicate, how people may be feeling, how people may have their perception on things. And sometimes you can't change that. And that's why I remove myself from a lot of people who always nagging, complaining about this person, why it didn't work out. I don't got time for that. I really don't have time for why, you know, this person got into argument with that person. I don't care. I don't care to know. I want to know how we can make money together. That's what I need to know. Are we going to be able to add value to each other? And I'm not just saying that to be an asshole. It's just, this is real life. This is the truth. And the fact of, if you really start separating yourself from other individuals who's always negative, you will see an instant change. You will. You 100% will. And I hate to say this. People are probably going to dislike me for saying this, but it starts with your family. It starts with your family. I don't hang around with a lot of my family members. Do I love them? 1,000%. But they're going to hold me back from where I'm trying to go. And they will never understand, because they're comfortable being where they're at. They're comfortable. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being comfortable. But for me, that's not fine. Jesse and I, we love being uncomfortable. Every single day, I put myself in uncomfortable positions every single day. Because that's the only way you're going to grow. That's the only way you're going to grow. Ed Mylett said it best. Well, he's at his conference last year in Vegas, and he said it best. If you want to make a lot of money, go after bigger problems. And that really stuck with me, because initially, that's what I do. That's what Jesse does. We can't be scared to go after bigger problems. Are you okay just making $5,000 every 2 months, or every 3 months, or every month? It's great. But how about making $20,000 a month? There's a difference between the mindset of, you know, I can and I will. And a lot of people that we, you know, Jesse and I, those who do know, we have Zooms on a weekly basis, Monday through Friday, faithfully. We communicate with a lot of people, and Jesse actually just launched his business coaching program, and they talk a lot about mindset, and just more so of the changing the perception of what you can and cannot do. And I think that's a great course, because more so specifically when you interact with individuals, you could tell right then, especially I know Jesse's a good judge of character. You could tell right then and there how the outcome is going to look. Definitely how the outcome is going to look, due to the fact of what they probably experienced in their life. Now, if they're open to hearing that, then maybe there could be a slight change. But if they're not open to hearing it, sometimes you can't force things to happen. And I literally learned to sometimes let things be. And even when they're wrong, sometimes you gotta let it be. You gotta let it go. You can't always be right in every situation. And I had to learn it the hard way, personally. I definitely had to learn it the hard way. And not the hard way where you know, got crazy, but just more so as a like developing internally, mentally, socially, and also spiritually. I all these things have enhanced over the last 6 months, a year, 2 years, and every month I'm literally trying to enhance my knowledge and what that looks like moving forward to give back. Literally take the experiences I shouldn't done and tell others what how to maneuver or what to do, because Jesse and I, we face a lot of obstacles and just in real estate in general, and we literally take that, grow from it, and let others know what not to do. So I guess to bring this on home more so, just please surround yourself with the right individuals. If you're around individuals who's constantly nagging, bitching and complaining about other individuals and what they're doing, or why that's happening, or why I can't do this, or why it's just, don't worry about you. How can you get to the next step? Facebook user said fail forward 1,000%.
Oh,
we do.
Speaking of which,
go ahead.
Well, I love that. I love that Facebook user said fail forward. If you guys, for those of you guys, not to like get off track here, but this has been such an amazing tool. The things that, like Chris said, the things that we want everybody to come in here. We want you guys to leverage this Facebook group. We want you guys to leverage this podcast. If there's anything that you guys need, don't be the one to sit here and put yourself on mute or put this on the car and like do nothing and just say, hey, you know what? Let me jump in here. I love these guys. I'd love to hear what they're talking about. Don't just come in here and consume content. Although we do appreciate you coming in here and spending some time with us, but we would love for you guys to get in here and to be intentional as well. Whatever you guys are needing, get in here into the comments. Get into the comments. Say, hey guys, I've got deals coming out the yang. What I don't have is time to follow up. Or hey, I've got this deal. I don't have any buyers. Can anybody come in here and has anybody got buyers here? Let's squat up. Can anybody help me close this deal? Is anybody a gator? Can anybody come in here and help fund the EMD? Or do we have any PMLs? Or, hey, you know what? I'm just trying to network and meet new people. I would love to meet with 5 new people in this podcast next week, or from this podcast next week. So get in here, guys. Let's be intentional and let us put you guys up here. And whatever you guys need, let us help you. That's what this whole thing is all about. Now, with that being said, we've also got some amazing freaking resources. Angel, I'm so glad that you said this. Book club. That's exactly where I was going, because the Facebook user said fail forward is absolutely right. And it made me think we've got a couple different resources for you guys that we do in our Facebook group throughout the week. If you don't know about them, then I would love to share maybe a couple of those things. And if you do know about them, tell somebody else. Get somebody else in here who might benefit from it. Book club being one of them. We just started, so we do it every other Friday. We're going to have our next book club meeting next Friday. And so we meet every other Friday. And so right now we met last Friday, and we are reading the book Failing Forward by John C. Maxwell. Actually, you know what? Give me 2 seconds. I want to share something with you guys that was just super, super dope. Crap, what's it called? Hold on. That was in that book, and I just want to, where did it go? I want to share it with you guys really quick because it was something that was awesome. Oh, here it is. Okay, cool. So when we're talking about failing forward, because I think a lot of people, they have this misconception as to what failure is. And there was this awesome graphic that I found maybe about 6 or 7 months ago, really kind of just detailing. There wasn't like any words or anything on it, but it was just a graphic. And it really detailed what failure is. And a lot of people, I think they want to do what Chris is saying. They want to succeed. They want to take that bet. They want to bet on themselves. But at the same time, maybe there's a lot of people that have fear of failure, even fear of success that holds them back. And guess what, guys? It all comes back to right here, right? That's why mindset and self-development and being around the right people has to be a non-negotiable for you guys. And when it comes to specifically failing, I think a lot of people think that they decide to jump into entrepreneurship and they start driving down this road, and then you come to a T. And at that T, if you go right, then you go to success. You succeed. And if you go left, you fail. And I think for a lot of people, that's how they think about it. And so when you get on social media or whatever, or you jump into some other Zooms throughout the week, or you talk to somebody and they say, hey, fail forward, fail forward, fail forward. And in your head, you might be thinking like, well, shit, why would I turn left? That makes zero sense. Why? I don't want to fail. I want to turn right. I just want to go to success. Taking the road to success. That makes sense to me. But that's how we were raised. That's how we were raised to think about success. And the fact that we have to, well, it's not a fact, but in our heads growing up, we thought it was a fact that we had to do everything ourselves. And so anyway, all these kind of play into each other that hold us back. But really what failure is if you're going down that road, you have an obstacle here, you have a pothole here, you have a blocked road right here that you either have to go over or under. You have all these kind of different obstacles, and it's just one road. And guess what? At the end of that road, it's not a T. There's the pot of gold at the end. And that pot of gold represents success. It represents some of your goals, some of the milestones and things you're wanting to achieve. Maybe for you, that pot of gold is leaving your W-2. Maybe that pot of gold is making a $5,600 or $5,700 check. Maybe it's making a $20,000 check, whatever that is. But it's just down this road, and you have to go down this road. And yeah, you're gonna come across these obstacles throughout this road. But here's the cool thing: is that as long as you don't quit, as long as you just don't turn around or just stop moving forward, you're going to succeed. That's the cool freaking thing about this entire thing. And so when it comes to failing forward specifically, I just want to share something with you guys, because when I read it, and it's part of an excerpt in this book that we're reading for our book club called Failing Forward by John C. Maxwell. And this excerpt just really helped me understand what failing is, and it encapsulates just really good imagery on how you take that failure and actually be productive with it. So let me read this and share this with you guys real quick. A ceramics teacher announced on opening day that he was dividing the class into two groups. All those on the left side of the studio, he said, would be graded solely on the quantity of work that they produced. Now, all those on the right side would be graded solely on the quality. Now, his procedure was simple. On the final day of class, he would bring in his bathroom scale, and he would weigh the work of the quantity group. 50 pounds rated an A, 40 pounds of pots rated a B, and so on. Those being graded on quality, however, only needed to produce one pot, guys. Now, that pot had to be a perfect one in order to get an A. Now, come grading time, a curious fact emerged. The works of the highest quality were actually produced by the group being graded for quantity. Now, it seems that while the quantity group was busy churning out piles of work and learning from their mistakes, the quality group had sat around theorizing about perfection, and in the end had a little more to show for their efforts than grandiose theories and a pile of dead clay. It doesn't matter whether your objectives are in the art of business, ministry, support, or sports, or relationships. The only way that you can get ahead is to fail early, fail often, and to fail forward. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because really all this comes down to sum this whole thing up in one sentence, is that the faster you guys can just get over the fact that you have to fail, it has to be one of those things, then the faster you can hurry up and succeed. That's really what it comes down to. If you can get into the mindset of, okay, I'm going to make 100 calls today or 200 calls today, or I'm going to go over my fear of this or fear over that, and I'm just going to do it. The faster you can hurry up and fail, the faster you can hurry and succeed. I shared this story probably a month or two ago, but I'll share it with you real quick. My family went on I took my kids and my wife to a church function a few months ago. And they had like games, they had food. And then at the end of the I guess you call it a buffet line, they had like this soda mixer thing where you got like all these like 20 different combinations of soda. And all of my kids, I've got 4 kids. 3 of my kids got root beer floats, and then my youngest, well, my second to youngest, I guess, he just wanted ice cream. I was like, all right, cool. So we go sit down and we're eating. He had hot dogs and Cheetos. He had like this much of his hot dog left and a few Cheetos left on his plate. And he's like, Dad, actually, I don't want ice cream. I want a root beer float like my brother and sister. And I was like, all right, cool. Finish your hot dog real quick and I'll go get your root beer float. And so he actually spent about 10 or 15 minutes arguing with me and then trying to convince his brother and his sister to share their root beer floats. Now, if you guys are a parent, you guys can relate with this. You'd probably look at least I was looking at my son. You guys probably look at your kids the same way and be like, dude, like it's been 10 or 15 minutes. Like you could have had 2 root beer floats by now. You know what I mean? But how much time is he sitting here like theorizing and strategizing? Okay, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to go like bug everybody else. I'm going to go ask them, hey, can you share some of this? Can you do this? And so it really just kind of, it made it really relatable for me. So in between reading that excerpt from that book and then having that experience of taking my family, is like, dude, let's hurry up and eat our hot dog, guys, so we can hurry up and have a root beer float. The faster we can hurry up and fail, literally the faster we can hurry up and succeed. It's all up to you guys. So like Chris said, we make it a habit. I guess you could almost call it part of our mission statement in our company to make sure that we are very cognizant and intentional with getting uncomfortable, because we understand the fact that, hey, you know what? Chris, I'm going to give you permission to fail. And Chris is giving me permission to fail. And it's neat because when you have somebody to support you and to be your ride or die like Chris, and he's like, dude, let's fail. Let's just go for it. If it flops, let's be intentional with what we learned and what can we do to either recover it, who can we bring in to help us or whatever. And it's so relieving. I even had a couple people in my coaching class that's what they needed to hear. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you for giving me permission to fail, because like in my head, I'm so afraid to screw up the conversations with a seller or not knowing what to say that it keeps me from moving forward. And sometimes just having somebody there to support you and say, hey, dude, like go F it up, go fail. And then guess what? If you get to that point where you just don't know what to say or don't know what the next step is, call me and we can hop on the phone together. So
Absolutely.
give yourself permission to fail and just acknowledge that, hey, that's part of the process. It's part of going down this road. You have to go down it. The pot of gold is at the end if you're willing to just keep moving forward. That's the thing. Just don't stop and you will make it.
That's the key word right there. Don't stop. Don't stop. The toughest times, don't stop. That's literally where you gotta keep pushing. You have to keep pushing, even when you don't want to. Would I love to be asleep right now? 1,000%. 1,000%. I would love to be asleep. Carlin, what's going on? Carlin and James. I'm not even sure if this Carlin or James. Transparently, you know how they use each other's account.
Yeah, they like to swap with their Facebooks.
So Carlin, yes, she's amazing. So this is a perfect example. She's squatting up with you guys. If you guys need to reach out to them, they can help you. And they're buying seller finance El Paso. That I didn't know. I just found that out.
Dude, when I did not know 2010, I had my bachelor party in El Paso. Fun fact, of all places.
Oh, really? I did not know that, Carlin. That's good to know. That's very good to know. But guys, just make sure you squat it up in the comments. This is a perfect example of how to squat up. If you need a buyer, she is buying those specific markets. I know Jesse and I were buying all markets besides Illinois. Maybe I think we may have to put that back on the list. We just came across actually from James, you're a phenomenal individual. James been in communication with this doctor over in India, so we're actually in negotiations right now. We're actually not in negotiations. We actually at the final stage of The agreement's been sent over. He's reviewing with his attorney. He lives in India. We may be buying his properties over in Illinois. It could be a cash cow, depending on what that looks like as far as finishing renovations. But so we may have to put that back on the buy box criteria. But it was almost too good to pass up. But you never know. So essentially, do we buy in all 50 states? Yes. But Illinois is kind of like a case by case basis. What do you think, Jesse? Yeah,
you got to have a slam dunk there, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, so what's your Facebook user? I wish I knew who this was. Guys, you guys got to grant StreamYard access to make your name visible.
I'm not sure if it's the same person. I think they're wanting to throw this up there too. We'd love to have you guys up there. If you guys jumped in late and you missed this, right at the I'm assuming you're watching this in probably one of the Facebook groups that we're streaming into. At the top of the what's it called? The video. There's like a description in the video. If you hit that description, you're gonna get a long explanation of kind of who we are, what we're doing, what the podcast is, and some links to resources and stuff in there. Scroll all the way to the bottom, and there's a link that says grant StreamYard access to share your name on Facebook or something to that effect. So if you go ahead and just click that link, we can throw you back up here and
so I just found it's Scott Kane.
Scott Kane. Awesome. Yes. Awesome.
Good old Scott Kane. Yep, that is correct.
No nonsense theater lending for EMD. Scott Kane, we need to connect too, bro.
Absolutely. So I know we got a couple minutes left of what that looks like. So we want to touch, more so touch on the next topic a little bit. So guys, just again, make sure you're squatting up with each other, getting deals done. If you guys come across any kind of obstacle, just reach out to us. Jesse and I can definitely help you and whatever that looks like. Our watermelon challenge starts Monday. I'm gonna set tomorrow. I feel like a Sunday right now, but
it's been a long week, bro.
It starts Monday, and you want to talk a little bit more about what that looks like?
Absolutely, I would.
Okay.
Absolutely, I would. We announced this on May 20th on our podcast. We had some other individuals who are in on this, putting on this challenge with us, and we kind of unveiled it. And I kind of want to just touch a little bit more on it. And if any of you guys have questions about it, please throw them in the comments so that Chris and I can answer those questions and make sure you guys have complete and utter clarity before we kick this thing off on Monday. Now, Monday, we're going to get really into the weeds with it. So I'm not going to get super in depth, but I just kind of want to give you guys a more maybe in-depth explanation as to what it is, how you guys can benefit, what the goal is, and just some of the nuances about it. So let's start with the fact that it's called the Watermelon Challenge. How does the watermelon relate to real estate? Like, what the crap is going on there? So there's a saying, and maybe you guys have heard it, but it's better to share a watermelon than to eat your own grape. Now, I think a few weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, Chris shared an example. We were doing a wholesale deal with an individual. And Chris, you want to give like a 30-second synopsis of what happened there and how that was an example of the opposite of what we're about? Do you remember which one I'm talking about?
The guy was at lunch?
No, the guy who went around the wholesaler and contacted you directly.
Yes. So those who know, Jesse and I are buyers. We're nationwide buyers. Do we wholesale? 1,000%. But it all depends on our exit strategy. We wholesale, we buy, we do it all, right? It's real estate investing. All the great ones do it. So a great friend of ours reached out. He's actually in the Astro community, Jamil Danji's community. He knew that we buy in Florida. He knew we buy what we buy and what that looks like. So he reached out to me because another wholesaler reached out to him and asked him, hey, do you have a buyer to buy this property? He reached out to me. We had a great conversation. I said, yeah, absolutely. Jesse and I will buy this. What's the next steps? So within like 48 hours, myself and I'm just going to say the whole, I don't want to mention names. I'm not going to mention names. So besides, I can mention Matthew. Matthew is actually a great friend of ours. He's the wholesaler that reached out to us, but it was another individual who reached out to him to find the buyer. So we're just going to say John Doe. John Doe. So John Doe reached out to Matt. Matt reached out to me, and I told him, yes, we are proceeding by the property. Within the 24 to 48 hours, we're communicating back and forth with Matt, have a great conversation, let him know specifically what the next steps look like. So I never been skip trace in my life. And if I have, I never knew about it to this day. So I received a random call from a gentleman, John Doe. I'm just going to say John Doe. And John Doe calls me and try to go around Matthew. And so he reaches out and say, hey, is this Chris James? And I say, yes, how can I help you? So he said, I'm actually calling about, I'm going to say 123 Main Street. And I say, how can I help you? And then that's when he explained, what the next steps look like. He says, should I do this? Should I do that? And it's more so, he was trying to cut Matthew out of the deal to get a bigger spread. And I didn't feel, first of all, I would never let that happen too, whether it was Matt or anybody. At the end of the day, I don't care if it's 4 wholesalers in the deal, everyone's going to get paid. I don't care if it's 100. We're going to find some way to make sure everyone is going to get paid. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, because at the end of the day, Jesse and I, we turned away a lot of stuff. We turned away lenders. We turned away a lot of different stuff because our name is everything, right? And more so specifically, we want people to understand that we work with ethics, and we're true to what we do. So John Doe, when he reached out and we having a conversation, I immediately, after we hung up the phone, I immediately called Matthew and let him know, hey, just to let you know, John Doe just gave me a call. It appears that he's trying to go around you. I said, I just want to make you notified. I said, just to let you know, if he's going to continue to do that, I said, Jesse and I are not going to buy this property. We don't need to buy the property, right? It's just about what we love to. Yeah, yes, of course, cash flows is great, being another one add to the portfolio, but Jesse and I, we don't want to proceed. We will not buy that property and just move on to the next one, right? Because it's going to be a lot of opportunities out there. So I told Matthew to have the conversation with John Doe, and then of course John Doe had his reasons why he skip traced me or what that looks like moving forward, and ultimately lost the deal. Jesse and I did not buy the deal. So that wholesaler could have made about 10 grand on that. He could have made 10 grand. And not just that, I'm sorry, let me take that back. He could have made 12 grand, and he did not want to pay Matt. He did not want to pay Matt, not because he called me, but I knew he didn't want to pay Matt from the message that Matt and I was having in regards to John Doe wanted Matt to introduce me to the whole situation. Basically, John Doe just want to know who the buyer is. How can I get in touch with him so him and I can have a conversation? Cut the middleman out. It was not going to pay him a finder's fee or anything. And Jesse and I do not work with people like that, because essentially, how many times have you done this in the past, right? Why I can't work or be surrounded with those kind of individuals who mindset is really, I don't care how I'm gonna get the deal done. I'm going to make it happen, whether I burn this relationship. Now, could Jesse and I, it was on market, right? Could Jesse and I easily went around and, called the agent and did this and all this other crap? 1,000%. But Jesse and I don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. And we would never do that. The one that Jesse and I are buying literally that we just locked up last night with the agent, it's a different property over in Texas. That's 4 doors right there. A wholesaler brought it back, and Jesse and I are paying them $24,000. $24,000. We don't care how much you make, long as the numbers work out. And that's the whole more of a thing. Like, don't try to cut people out, because you're just going to burn bridges. You're going to, like, for instance, Jesse and I, we have a list. We know we're not going to work with this individual who reaches out to us, because we know how they do business. And we only work with people who's actually doing business in the right way. And that's the perfect example of this guy. I think his name is C or Vero. I think it's C. I'm sorry. It's
Sai.
Sai. There we go. Sai. So we're working with him. He brought us a deal. We're paying him $24,000. We're paying 24. We don't care how much you guys make. You can make $100,000 on a deal, long as literally the deal works out and the margins are there. So, more of the story, guys, don't go around people. Don't people will find out, and if they don't find out on that specific deal, they will find out in the future, because everything you do in the dark comes to light. Everybody knows the slogan. It does bite you in the ass in the long run. And that's
an
where
example of wanting to eat your own grape right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
You
and that great bust real quick.
100%, dude. Anytime I meet somebody, dude, I'm already my immediate mindset is already like, all right, how much money is this relationship going to make us between now and the next 50 years?
Right.
So even if one doesn't work out, like, dude, I want to maintain this relationship. I want to keep it good standing, and let's how many watermelons can we buy?
Yeah.
So I thank you for sharing that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And a raisin. He said a raisin. That was hilarious. And again, guys, more so like the reason I mentioned that more so because I just want people to understand that how you do anything is how you do everything, right? And truly want you to understand that, because initially Jesse and I were doing a lot. And we want to do a lot with you. But if you have that mindset and that standard of, I don't care, I don't care what that looks like for you, I'm only worried about myself, and then it just may not work out. We may not be working with you, but you can work with other individuals, but you only can go so far. Perfect example, my first check in real estate. I did it by myself, but I struggled. To get that $5,800. I struggled my ass off, especially in New York. It took 6 months to get that. 6 months. Now, mind you, living in New York, I want to paint this picture. Living in New York, you guys know how expensive it is. Luckily, I'm in the upstate New York, which is a lesser expensive than actually living in the city of New York City. And imagine doing 2 deals a year, getting $5,800. So you're about close to $13,000, right? Imagine living off of $13,000 a year. You can't. I don't think in any state you can. I think. I don't know, but I know New York you can't. So it's just more so. That's a perfect example, because initially, when I joined the community, I started JVing, and literally ever since my first deal, every single deal I ever done was with somebody, and it got done a lot faster. And that's literally how Jesse and I built our business. When Jesse and I literally got together and literally built this business from the ground up, we literally. We literally started putting people, just more so
bringing the people.
Bringing the people that more so resonates in what we're trying to do in the vision. So initially, the acquisitions team, our dispositions team, our lead managers, our disposition managers, you got to have the right individuals in place. If you don't, it's going to fail. And of course, you're going to go through some obstacles, having the right structure and what that looks like, but that's all a growing process, right? And literally we got to a point where more so we got a real estate in the box company. Even with our lending division, Third Mind I would never thought Third Mind would be an actual bank to process loan, all kind of loan products, from DSCR loans, construction, bridge loans. I can go down the list.
Fix and flip, yeah.
We have a bunch of different loans, and never thought Third Mind would actually be a lending company, right? So, and this kind of we got uncomfortable. Transfer, we got uncomfortable. We had to, because essentially we'll probably be wondering, like, where's the next deal coming from, and what does that look like, and all this good stuff. But yes. I guess I kind of went on a tangent right there. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good, man. It really paints the picture. It sets the precedence of what this challenge is all about, man. Is not doing it yourself. There's so many ways to make money in real estate. Like if you're trying to do all this by yourself, man, you are sorely just leaving so much money on the table. Think about this for a second. Chris, is there a dollar that you've ever made by yourself?
No. If you think about it, no.
Somebody's always involved every step of the way. So check this out. Everybody in here is here because I'm assuming they want to do big things. They want to make money. They want to create the wealth. They want to create the freedom, serve other people and their family and all these amazing things. I think we can all probably resonate with a little bit of that. And every year that you go through that you don't know how to make $1 million. If you like Chris said, man, if you're working a W-2 or whatever, and you're just making $50,000 a month or a year, you're essentially cutting a check for life. You're writing a check to your life for $950,000 every freaking year that you don't know how to make $1 million.
Right. So true.
If you want to make $1 million, you can't do it by eating a grape. So Chris and I and some of these other individuals created this challenge to showcase, hey, if you guys want to get a lot of momentum going and learn how to build and leverage those relationships, come participate in this challenge. Because you know what's unique about this challenge? Not only is it going to force people into a position where they're learning how to become uncomfortable, where they're learning how to become better communicators, better leaders, where they're learning how to do all the, have all these different skills, and at the same time focus on one thing. And what I mean by that is maybe you want to just focus on being an underwriter. Maybe you want to focus on just closing deals and calling sellers. This challenge is going to force you to just focus on one thing and get super, super good at one thing, and then figure out how to leverage and build relationships with other people to bring this whole thing back home. So if you've never done a deal, or if you've only done 1 deal or 2 deals or 5 deals or whatever, and you're wanting to get to a point to where you're doing 5 deals a month or 10 deals a month or even more than that, that's the entire point of this challenge. And so Chris and I just kind of want to create that picture for you guys real quick. Now, to get into what it is and some of the other specifics without digging too deep into it, when we look at, like Chris said, Ed Mylett said it best, the bigger problems you solve, the more money you make. So how do we all collectively, how do we take that mentality and how do we come together and solve bigger problems for not only real estate investors, but for other sellers as well? Sorry, you guys can probably hear my 2-year-old.
You're fine, man.
Hold on a second, baby. So when we're wholesaling, we're looking at properties that are 50% of the ARV, the after repair value. So if an ARV of a property is $100,000, we already know, before knowing anything about the property, doing any underwriting or comps or rehabs or anything like that, we already know that we need to be in the ballpark of $50,000 to $65,000. So when that doesn't work for the seller, whether they have no equity, their mortgage is $90,000, whatever that is, that's when we start looking at different options and tools on our tool belt and saying, hey, what can we use? What other tools do we have to use to solve this seller's problem? In order to wholesale this, I need to get this thing under contract at $50,000, but they owe $90,000 on their mortgage. Do you think they're going to take a $40,000 hit?
Right.
No.
Exactly.
So guess what? We start looking at the tools on our toolbar. We're like, oh, you know what? This may be a good creative deal. Okay, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, you know what? Totally get it. Sounds like I'm probably not a cash buyer for you. However, we do purchase properties a handful of different ways. If you might be receptive to doing something a little less conventional, I would love to have a conversation with you and go over what a few of those options may or may not look like for you. Right? And then you start segueing into a creative pitch. Well, what happens when creative doesn't work? Well, more often than not, at that point, we would just disqualify that individual. If we can't wholesale it, if wholesaling isn't going to solve their problem and they're not receptive to creative, normally, most of us would say, hey, you know what? This goes in the follow-up bin. They're not ready right now. And then we just continue following up, or we just completely disqualify them altogether because they don't have a problem for us to solve. So we took this a step further, and Chris and I are kind of looking at our business and the many things that we're involved with. And I know Chris mentioned this a couple times. We're a bank. We have a loan officer that works underneath us. Amazing individual. So grateful for that relationship. Mark
Absolutely
is such a phenomenal and amazing human being. I love that guy. I count my lucky stars. I'm so grateful that we were able to cross paths with this individual. And we created a bank out of Third Mind, and now we can do DSCR loans and fix and flip loans and all these other kind of things like Chris was saying. And we thought, hey, you know what? Why don't we put a challenge together where when wholesaling doesn't work and when creative doesn't work, then hey, you know what? Let's just go take a loan out for these individuals and partner with people. Let's utilize our own resources. Let's utilize our own credit. If John Doe is talking to a seller and wholesaling doesn't work, creative doesn't work, and they're like, man, instead of just disqualifying this person, why don't I share this watermelon and say, hey, you know what? I've got Jesse and Chris and their team. They'll take a loan out using their own credit. We can get a DSCR loan on this, and we can all partner on this together. Maybe that means, you buy and hold it with us, you partner with us, and we all hold this property together, or we buy it and give you a wholesale fee for it or something. But it forces everybody to be in this collective where, hey, we're all working together to solve problems on a massive, massive scale. Mike Weston, thank you so much, dude. It is his wife's birthday today. Tell Jamie happy birthday for me, bro. I sent her a text this morning. I don't know if she got it or if maybe I just haven't seen it. But yeah, dude, we have bigger problems now with these properties we have, but we have also learned a ton and gained confidence. It was scary as heck at first. The problems were nerve-wracking, but overcoming them showed us we are more capable than we thought we were. Dude, Mike, I love that, bro. I freaking love that. It's neat because, like you said, you take that confidence and what you learned just by failing forward, and then that confidence and that knowledge, that education, snowballs and it compounds into the next thing and then the next thing, and then you start building another part of your business, and it just continues growing. But just having that confidence going into the next thing makes literally all the difference, bro. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. We've had a couple people in here from Alaska this morning. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you. But anyway, in an overarching, without getting too deep into it, that's what the watermelon challenge is. I mean, shit, technically, if you guys even wanted to, we've actually had a couple. I know Carlin, Angel, there's a couple other individuals that are kind of changing their entire business strategy and just focusing on this watermelon challenge where they don't have to cold call. They don't have to worry about motivated sellers. They don't have to text. They don't have to negotiate. They don't have to know how to pitch creative or literally anything. They could literally just call agents, and as long as the property cash flows, come in and we'll take a loan out and we'll partner with you. Or you could just get on Zillow. you could just time block an hour out of your day and go through Zillow and just shoot the agents an email and say, hey, I need the T12 and the rent rolls or whatever financials you have on this so I can underwrite it. And as long as the numbers make sense, we're all going to partner on it. We're all going to share this freaking watermelon, man. So you don't have to worry about grinding for 6 months to get that $5,600 or to get that first deal. You can go from no deals to 10 deals. You can go from no deals to 20 to owning 20 properties by the end of the year without using any of your own cash, credit, or credentials. None of your own money, none of your credit. You don't have to qualify loans. We'll do that for you. But the point of this whole thing is to solve bigger problems for all of us to come in here and share a watermelon together. So that's what this challenge is. It's going to be kicking off on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So if you guys are not part of the Facebook group, go ahead and go over there. It's I think you can just type in Facebook, the Watermelon Challenge. I think that's what the Facebook group is called. So get in there. I think we've got almost a couple hundred people in there already. I've actually had a couple of people who have started submitting deals and everything kind of prematurely, which is awesome. I'm super excited for this. But I think this is going to help a lot of people out, and I'm tickled pink for it, man. It's going to be awesome. So thank you guys. But that's kind of, again, just from a 30,000 foot view, what this challenge is all about. And then, of course, over the coming months, we're going to have different focuses, like people who are fixing and flipping. We can do fix and flip loans and all that other kind of stuff. So there's lots of ways that we can partner and make money together. I will say real quick, there's only 4 states that we can't do this in. One is Hawaii, North Dakota. Is it Wyoming, Chris?
It is Wyoming.
And then the 4th one is Alaska. Sort of.
Right. They're working things out for Alaska. They're trying
if it's in Anchorage specifically, I think that's the only place in the entire state that we can do it. And even then, it's kind of hit and miss. So anyway, with that being said, if you guys have questions or anything that we can do to help bridge the gap or get you guys started, please either throw it in the comments or reach out to Chris and I directly. We'd love to help any way we can.
So for Jesse, how would they, if you want to be a private money lender, how would they reach out to you?
If I wanted to, or if they wanted to?
If they wanted to.
If they wanted to be a private money lender, oh my gosh, shoot us an email at info, INFO, at Third Mind, 3RD Mind, MINDREI.com. Info at thirdmindrei.com. Yeah, we'd love to. Actually, you know what? If anybody, do we got a thing? I got it real quick before we hop off. Oh, here it is. Yep. You guys can see on the screen that we got this rolling thing on the bottom of the screen. There's our Calendly right there. We'd love to connect with you guys. If anybody, Chris and I know the importance of networking and building relationships, and we would love to connect with you. If anybody's watching this right now or anybody watching this in the future, let's definitely get together. I would love to connect with you guys, hear more about what you guys have going on, and let's have a conversation. I don't want to have a conversation about how we can just make money together, but I would love to know how many different ways can we make money together. So let's jump on a Zoom. And the link is right here, calendly.com/thirdmindrei/let's connect. So are you guys doing businesses without real estate? I don't know if I understand the question. Like,
me either.
Maybe the only other thing I can think of is, we got a coaching business and then a transactional coordination business. So they're not, I guess they're kind of correlated, but I don't know if that's what you're asking, Lisa. I'm sorry. I hope I answered your question. Awesome. Here's another Alaskan, Kimberly. I freaking love you. You're awesome. I hope you're having an awesome day. Looks like we got some overcast today. Yesterday was awesome. We had a great day yesterday.
Overcast. I think that was pretty neat. That was pretty neat. I think you went live. I can't remember if you went live or you was on your story, but you showed what it looks like at midnight. A couple minutes to midnight. I did, man. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Between 8 or 9. Dude, I was staying up last night. Playing with my kids. My wife worked, and so just having ice cream and playing zombies on Call of Duty. And it was about midnight, and I went to go shut the blinds because you got to have blackout blinds here, bro. So I went to go shut the blinds, and I was like, oh shoot, dude, like it's kind of nice outside. Maybe I'll run out and do like a quick live and show everybody what Alaska looks like at midnight. If you guys want to see that video, go to my Facebook. I did a live last night just showing everybody how light it is at basically midnight.
I thought that was crazy. I really thought that was freaking crazy. I don't know if I ever can go to sleep. Like it's too much light.
Dude, it's the craziest thing, man. It's awesome, bro. It's awesome.
Amazing.
Lisa,
well, guys, is it 7:00 Monday? The challenge. I just thought about, are we doing a Zoom for that one? Should we send the link out? No.
Yes, let's do another register. If you can create a link today, we'll get that sent out. So you guys go ahead. If you guys want to be in the Watermelon Challenge, go to the Facebook group, just type in the Watermelon Challenge in Facebook group, or if you can't find it, shoot me or Chris a DM and we can send you guys a link with that for that group. Lisa, I want to make sure I'm understanding your question right. Are you asking if we are lenders for small business startup funding? If that's your question, the answer is no. Not yet.
There you go.
Not yet.
Amazing.
Awesome. Chris, any parting words, good sir?
Yeah, thank you all for showing up. We truly appreciate it. Again, don't forget to subscribe to Spotify, Apple Music. For the Androids, I think it's Google Podcasts or something like that. I don't know. I'm not an Android user, so music. Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. And again, if you haven't joined the House of Cards with Chris James and Jesse Stanton, don't forget to do so as well. There's a lot of activity in there, a lot of resources, a lot of amazing individuals who's just giving back and just providing value. And if you want to connect with us, our calendar link is right there. I just realized the calendar link I put in the side chat for you guys. It didn't go to Facebook. So after this live, I will go to the Facebook and actually post it in there so you guys have it as well, versus trying to type it out or anything to make it a little bit more difficult. But we definitely appreciate you guys. We'll be back Monday, 7:00 p.m. I'm 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will create the link, send it out. We have put it in group for the House of Cards and also the watermelon challenge. We'll post on social media so you guys have that as well. Don't forget to invite your friends, family, and whoever potentially looking to leave their 9 to 5.
Yeah, pets.
What was that?
Don't forget to invite your family. I'm just including mom, dad, pets.
I thought you said
involved,
okay.
Share this watermelon.
Well, we definitely appreciate you guys. Until next time.
Thanks for listening to the House of Cards podcast with Chris James and Jesse Stanton. We hope you've enjoyed this episode and have learned something new about real estate investing. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more tips and tricks. And don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Until next time.